F1 2021 is here, and a big thanks to EA, Codemasters and Vertigo 6 for sending us a copy of the game. I hope you enjoy this GPFans Special, and we'll start with the very latest game mode called Breaking Point.
I just don't get it, Zoe. He gets to pit ahead of me, and they give his car the only new power unit last season. And he gets to go out behind me in qualifying. This kid is a new #1 driver.
Have you always wanted to put yourself in the shoes of a Formula 1 driver? With Breaking Point, you will come pretty close to doing that. Whether you have no experience at all with F1 games or you play them 24/7, this mode is fun for everyone to pick up. You start by choosing a difficulty level, normal, challenging or hard. And then you choose a F1 team that you'd like to drive for, AlphaTauri, Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, Haas F1 or Williams. And then you start the game in the F2 season. You start in the final races of the F2 season, and you should see Aiden Jackson, I was constantly reminded of F2 driver Jack Aitken while playing it, win 2 races as you make the switch then to Formula 1.
An incredible race! Look at it! Every driver is being so aggressive! Check it out!
They'll all be feeling the pressure right now, none more so than young Aiden Jackson from Carlin.
That's right. Rumors from the paddock talk about a possible future for Jackson in Formula 1. And with only a few laps to go, this is still anyone's race.
The atmosphere here is electric, and we couldn't have asked for a better finish to the F2 season here in Abu Dhabi.
There you'll start in the 2020 season next to the veteran driver and Dutchman Casper Akkerman. Your arch rival is Devon Butler, and your midfield battle is to finish 4th in the Constructors' Championship. Every Grand Prix you get an objective, such as finish the race in the top 5 or make sure you get close to your teammate. It's a really fun mode to help you learn all of the tracks, especially since you don't have to drive them at 25%. You occasionally only have to drive 5 or 8 laps to complete your target.
It's okay. I've got this.
Here comes Butler. 3 abreast going into turn 11. Oh, this can't work! And it doesn't! Ackerman's off onto the verge of what looks like damage as well.
Is he okay? Is Casper okay?
He'll be fine. He's heading for the pits now. You just concentrate on the race.
I don't want to give away too many spoilers because the story doesn't actually last too long, but it is really comparable to the Netflix series Drive to Survive. It's sometimes a bit too over the top in terms of the acting, but to be honest, I did really enjoy it.
Casper, listen, I don't know what happened out there. It wasn't my fault.
Well, whose fault was it then? Who was the idiot behind the wheel of your car? You're pathetic. You won't even admit when you made a mistake. How did they ever sign you?
You can see developments through the F1 season on a large TV from your motorhome, such as the name change of Renault and Racing Point. Furthermore, you don't have to worry about the settings of your car or anything like that. It's just nice to drive, although sometimes it's maybe a bit too simple. We would have liked a little more depth here, especially during the races, like some yellow flags or a safety car, but otherwise it's a really nice arcade mode. Besides Breaking Point, there's of course Career Mode and My Team. They are the most important offline parts of F1 2021. In Career Mode, you can join a team yourself and really follow the current calendar. And in My Team, there are now 7 faces of famous drivers that you can hire as a teammate for your own team that you create. That is, if you order the digital deluxe edition. I've never really put a lot of time into this myself because it does take a lot of time and there are elements in that I didn't really like, but it is a really good mode. In F1 2021, you can turn off a lot of the more in-depth stuff like the press conferences or arranging R&D management or even sorting out the facilities. And that's actually a really good way of streamlining these modes. Time Trial mode is a mode that every racing fan will know, even if you haven't played an F1 game. And this mode really is just straight down to basics. Not much has changed in this regard compared to the previous F1 games. And I imagine that most people will be spending a lot of time sat down once again trying to get the best time in this mode. Now, it's probably quite important that we discuss how the driving actually is in this game. Remco spent a day in the simulator and they mainly noted that the entire handling model has been tackled. There's more understeer and less downforce in the fast corners, which is very noticeable. You have a lot of mechanical grip, so the slow corners are quite fast. It's now a lot easier to lock your rear wheels if your brake balance is too far back, although we didn't try a magic button mode like Lewis Hamilton on the front brakes at any point. And there's less engine braking so that fast downshifts are less overpowered when braking. Also, the timing tower is up on screen during replays, which is very cool that they added this. And you can no longer change engine modes during the race. The tyres wear faster if you lock them, and they've added side pod and rear wing damage. That's now a real thing, and if you have too much of this, your race can be stopped immediately. Setups are completely different as well, and probably players will drive with a lot of front downforce to get enough oversteer. Now, multiplayer was available, but you didn't really meet anybody in the online lobbies because hardly anybody has the game at the moment, so we'll come back to this at a later date. I played this game on the PlayStation 5, and graphically there is still a big change. You can choose between performance or graphics mode. Graphics mode lets you enjoy 4K gameplay at 60 frames per second, which looks seriously good. Performance mode lets you play at 1440p with 120 frames per second. If you're sitting comfortably on the couch with a controller, I'd probably advise that you leave it just at the 4K resolution. If you play with a steering wheel, well, everything works that little bit better at 120 frames per second. Overall, with what I've played so far, I really like the new F1 2021 game. I know this is normally a different video to what we usually put out, but I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any questions about the game, leave them in the comments section below, and we will do our best to try and answer them.